Okay, Ciaran, thanks for coming along. You're currently driving for the Blackpool McLaren in the British GT Championship. It's your second season alongside Sandy Mitchell. So a great year last year, including a one-handed victory at Donington. So how's 2017 going?
Well, 2017 got off to, thought it was going really well, and then the first round it went downhill quite quickly. Just a few bits of bad luck. We had a good weekend at the start at Oulton. We thought at probably one of our weakest tracks in the year, we thought we were going to have a really good one after the qualifying and stuff, but in the race it didn't really play out too well. But it's been we've been picking up slowly but surely, and eventually at Snetterton we got our first win of the season. And then Silverstone was a bit of put a bit of a downer on it again, but we're hoping to bounce back again at Spa next weekend.
Fantastic, that'll be a great circuit to go back to after last year. So it must be interesting having the team relationship with Sandy, so it's rather than it all being down just to you. So what's it like sharing the highs and lows with a teammate?
It's sometimes it's pretty nerve-wracking. You know, you're sitting there in the garage just watching all the action happening while your teammate's on track, and it does make you bite your nails a bit. But no, it's been the relationship's really good. Sandy and I are quite similar in terms of we're quite focused. We get on with the job and don't make too many complaints about things, and I think it's been really good. And it was good last year having the same teammate this year as last year, so it's great to have that consistency.
Fantastic. So a little bit about yourself. What's your favourite film? I've got a feeling you might say something you've ever seen.
I quite like The Wolf of Wall Street. That's a pretty good film. Yeah, that's probably up there. And then a few racing films. Talladega Nights, I quite like that one.
See, that's what I thought you were going to say.
That's a good one. Yeah, a racing one, Talladega Nights.
Right.
So
you race for McLaren, which is obviously a very prestigious team. So what's it like racing for them?
It's a huge privilege. It's great to be part of such an iconic brand, and to race for them is great. To also do some development work with them last year with the new 570S was amazing from my point of view, to gain experience of what goes into making turning a road car into a race car, and it was great to see all that happening and being involved in it.
Excellent. So talking about race cars, what's your favourite McLaren race car?
Favourite race car? I'd probably say like Senna's 1988?
1988, might be the one behind you
V12.
actually.
I think that's the one. Yeah, MP44. That's it. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, good choice.
Yeah, that's a nice car.
What about McLaren road cars? Obviously, you've seen a fair few of them.
Quite like they made the F1, but they made a special edition.
Was it F1? Was it the
GTR? Was it the yellow one with the wing on it?
Oh, that's stunning.
Yeah,
They have yellow. Was it yellow and kind of green livery? There was a P1 with a similar one, I think, maybe at Ignition last year.
That
rings a bell.
Yeah. So I'm quite into that.
So you mentioned Spa. What circuit have you not driven on that you'd really love to drive?
I've always had a thing for Sebring. I always used to I was playing racing games when I was younger. Sebring always used to be the track that I would practice on my simulator and stuff. So
how many hours did you do?
I don't know about hours, but the laps were definitely in the thousands anyway.
So that's something that potentially in the future would you want to explore? You know, American racing. Is that
I think
something
so.
that
I think with the GT racing in America, they've got with the sports car racing, they've got the IMSA Championship, which looks quite good. They've also got things like Pirelli World Challenge, which looks like quite a good championship to race in as well. So wouldn't mind having a go at that and on those tracks at some point in America.
Brilliant. If you could listen to music whilst driving, what would you listen to?
I don't know. I'll try listening to different types of music before I drive and see what one works best in preparation for driving. But I don't know. I'd have to be like, I don't know, like hardstyle or something like that. You know,
Right.
some really really bad music like that.
It wouldn't be like Nora Jones or something.
Probably not.
It's
I'm not even sure who that is.
End up films. I forget you're too young. So you mentioned some of the American racing there, right? Nowadays you've got F1, IndyCar, the World Endurance Car Championship. What do you think's really the pinnacle of motorsport? Is Formula One still the pinnacle?
I think in terms of cars, like the performance of a car, I'd say Formula One's still the pinnacle with all the intricate aerodynamics and all that it's got, and the amount of technology in it. But I'd say in terms of drivers, I'm not saying the Formula One drivers are not the best in the world. A lot of them are the best. I think are some of the best drivers in the world, but I think there's also a lot of good quality drivers in other championships. So I'd say Formula One is the pinnacle in terms of car, but I'd say maybe driving wise there's a lot more quality in other championships.
So Lewis Hamilton made the comment recently with regards IndyCar drivers after Alonso's performance at the Indy 500. There's been various comments made on that about the standard of drivers. Obviously Formula One, if you're in a Mercedes, you've got a very very good chance of winning the title. So do you think that the likes of IndyCar and the World Endurance Car Championship, how do they rate on a driver level in comparison with F1?
I think the driver level is very high, because you've got some of those who've came out of F1 into that, and they're all very good quality drivers, I think, in those championships. And I think to stay in IndyCar and sports cars, I think you need sometimes more than money. Sometimes quality driving is quite important as well.
And the good thing I suppose about those championships is we just recently had Le Mans where Johnny Adam won the GT Pro, and the last lap of the Indy 500 you don't know who's going to win.
Exactly.
Whereas in Formula One, by the first corner sometimes you know who's going to win the race. But we'll have a little chat about Formula One in a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
So Goodwood is on this week as well. So last year you were there and you drove a McLaren. So what was that like?
That was a great experience actually, to go to Goodwood and drive, sort of almost debut the car, the sprint car up the hill, show it off, was a great experience, and I'd love to do it again at some point. It's just great, you know, going past everyone, you see the massive crowds and all that there, and it was really quite something special. And
it's a historic event as well, so it must be pretty cool from an enthusiast point of view to go and see some of the other cars.
Yeah, exactly. To see all those different cars. I mean, you couldn't go around the place in one day and see everything. Yeah, you'd have to spend a good few days there to see all the cars that were there.
So hopefully you get to make an appearance again, and we'll pop along and support you for that.
I hope so.
So you're a young racing driver in Scotland. We've got the temptations of deep fried haggis and Mars bars and iron brew and things like booze, perhaps.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to deal with that as a young guy?
To be honest, I try and balance it all out. I try and make sure I make sure I keep fit and make sure I'm keeping active and keeping my fitness levels up, but making sure I enjoy myself at the same time, because you want to have a balance in life. You don't want to be too, personally I don't want to be too strict on myself, you know, because I get bored quite easily. So I like to go out and have a bit of fun as well, so I just try and keep a good balance.
I remember that talking about McLaren, Gerhard Berger had once said that Senna, when he was too focused, you know, it was all about racing, he actually, when he learned to sort of lighten up and have a good time and have a joke with Gerhard and stuff, it actually made him a better driver. So I think you're right, you must have a balance, you can't be completely
exactly.
all about that. For the fitness point of view, we do have a question from a young lad by the name of Seb Melrose.
Okay.
And he said he wants to know how you've got so, in fact I better not ask that. I think he's alluding to the fact that you are very fit now.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned that there, how does that help with the driving?
says the fitness is obviously helps you drive better because you're stronger and stuff to drive the car, but to be honest, it all goes back to helping you mentally. I think that's the big thing. So if they say healthy body, healthy mind. So it's a bit like that in the car. If you're fit enough to drive the car, all your capacity is not focused on just driving the car. You can, if you're fitter than you have to be to drive the car, you've got more capacity to think other things, and ultimately you'll be a better driver for that.
Excellent. You do a lot of work in supporting the likes of young drivers, so bear in mind what's just happened at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku between Hamilton and Vettel, because these guys are, people that young drivers are going to look up to. So what kind of message does that send out, maybe the conduct of both of them? How do you think that impacts on?
Yeah, that's probably the negative effect of it, reacting like that, because as we were talking about earlier, the pinnacle of motorsport, people look at Formula 1 as the pinnacle, and if they see people driving like that in Formula 1, then it all filters down to lower categories, and they think, oh, that's what they're doing, so that's what we should be doing. And I think it's maybe, sometimes maybe they need to be a bit more mature about it.
It's a strange one as well, because in the background we've got Jim Clark, and then we've got the Senna model. So two highly respected Formula 1 drivers, arguably the greatest of their era, and maybe the greatest of all time. But very, very different characters. Jim Clark renowned for being a gentleman, racing cleanly. Then obviously Senna had the instance they had with Prost. So it is a tough one.
I think it's also difficult to think when the adrenaline's going in you in the car. It's very difficult to have think clearly and think, is this a good idea? Because it's very heat of the moment stuff, because the adrenaline's pumping. You're ready for, like in Hamilton and Vettel's case, you're ready for a restart. You're pumped up, so obviously tensions would be a bit high. So it is hard to keep your emotions and stuff in check.
So, talking about young drivers, who are the ones to watch out for coming up through the ranks? Obviously there's a lot of Scottish talent at the moment.
I'd say, going back to Ross Martin, who's just came into Formula 4 this year.
He's on a roll at the moment.
Definitely. He's came in, he's been very impressive actually. He's done very well. Seb Melrose as well, he's really coming on this year again. He didn't have a huge amount of experience prior to car racing, but the way I've seen him come on the past couple of years has been quite good, and I'm sure he'll be even stronger going forward. So say those couple of people, then a couple of people in karting like Ciaran Conke, you've met him yourself. He's really good, and then a couple of other drivers, but no, I'd say there's plenty of Scottish talent coming through the ranks at the moment.
Excellent. So, on a support point of view, who's given you the biggest support in your career?
I'd say I've had a lot of support from a lot of people. To be honest, I can't narrow it down to one. There's been so many people that have given me such sound advice and guided me in the right direction. And I think that's plays a big part of where I am today.
Excellent. So if you could give some advice, we talked about this at the McLaren event, to young drivers, what would you say to them?
I say just be honest with yourself, do the best job you can, and just keep your head down in school and stuff like that, and your education and stuff, and then just keep talking to people, networking stuff. Networking and getting contacts is a big part of racing, and the more them you can get, the more people you meet, and the more potential you have to meet the right person who might take you forward in your career and just give you that springboard to help you out.
Excellent. So thanks a lot for coming along and talking to us, and I hope you enjoy and get a good result at Spa, which will be a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, I think so. I hope we get a good result there. Car was good there last year, so we're hoping it will be good again this year.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. Cheers.